Okay, this is video 5, Crisis Intervention. We have our subject here, a Miss Erica, and let's get started. Well, hello, how are you today, Miss Erica?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So, what brings you here to talk with us today?
Um, well, I've been having some difficulty with a traumatic event that happened over the summer, and I really just don't know how to deal with it.
Okay. Um, would you like to tell me more about the event that took place?
Um, it was it was a house fire. Um, it was really traumatic.
Okay. Um, tell me more about this house fire.
Well, I guess the first thing I need to say is that I was married and now I'm a widow, and it's because of the house fire, because of the fire that happened at our home. Um, and I don't know how to get past it. It's a recent event, and it's just still so fresh in my mind about what happened. I lost my husband in the fire.
It must be hard, definitely, to lose your husband, someone who was your soulmate, especially to lose them in that manner.
Yes, his name was Edgar, and we had been married for 10 years. I guess we met in college, and we fell in love in college, and he was the love of my life, and we were married up until that time.
Tell me more about Edgar and why you um, here today.
Well, Edgar was a wonderful man. He enjoyed life. And he was a smart man. And, he was protective of me. And that's just why this is so challenging and difficult for me because he was my protector, but when he needed protecting, I wasn't able to protect him. Um, but like I said, we met in college and fell in love and got married. And we weren't able to have any children, so we kind of clung to each other and held on to one another during hard times. And we were either having financial difficulties or sometimes when we just weren't getting along, health issues. We just continued um, to hang in there together. And the investigators, they couldn't figure out how I survived. And I really I feel guilty because I survived and he didn't.
It's very difficult to move forward when you feel that a piece of you um, is gone. You mentioned that he was a protector. He was able to always help you. You mentioned that you were not able to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me more about your feelings concerning that?
I just really feel like I didn't really survive because when he died in the fire, a part of me died with him, and that's been the challenge of dealing with the guilt of losing him. Um, it all happened so fast, so quickly. But we were very happy together. We enjoyed each other's company. It is so surreal. It's hard to deal with right now. He's got to help me through it.
When you say hard to deal, um, how have you been coping with this loss up until this point?
Um, Probably to this point, I just started drinking heavily, and my family doesn't understand what I'm going through. Nobody seems to understand, you know. And when I'm not drinking, I try to volunteer, at the shelters to take my mind away from it. And it's really hard.
You mentioned that you have been drinking heavily, but you also mentioned that you volunteer at the shelter, and that tends to help. What other things have you maybe explored to help you cope other than the drinking?
Just talking to my family and trying to get them to understand, because the fire it happened so quickly. It started in the kitchen, and it went out of control, and um, it's just like I relive the moments every time I talk about it. He was upstairs sleeping, and I couldn't get him to wake up, and I couldn't get him out of the house, so I didn't know what else to do. And I just ran back downstairs and tried to get out myself, but as I was leaving, it's like I could hear him faintly calling, and by that time it was too late for me to go back to get him. And I blame myself for not calling anybody to get help for him. And but my family doesn't understand. But I try to talk to them and get some understanding from them. But it's like they don't want to hear what I have to say.
Well, what we definitely want to do is to explore some other ways and paths um, to aid you in coping with the loss of your husband, other than the heavy drinking. We want to find some healthier paths for you to take. Um, the volunteerism is definitely one positive path, uh, and those things that may um, not in the sense of forgetting, but to aid you in dealing with this loss. Uh, could you tell me some more about um, those things? You said that you could faintly hear his voice at times, or sometimes certain things remind you.
Yeah.
Are those memories um, good memories, or do they all relate back to the incident itself?
Um, for the most part, they relate back to the incident because it just seemed like when the fire happened, it took our home, and it took our lives. It took my husband. It took me, and that's the point of where I need to let go so that I can move forward and still remember the good things that we had with one another. It was, I wouldn't say beating myself up, but it's almost like I'm blaming myself that he died.
What do you think would help you so that you would not uh, beat yourself up or blame yourself? Um, you spent several years with Edgar, and you guys, they were good years. Um, what are those things that remind you of the good times as opposed to just the event?
Um, guess, our time in college together and being college sweethearts. Um, when we took trips together and um, the times we would walk and talk with one another and kind of share our day with one another. Um, but it's almost as if the event tries to drown those things out, and I try not to let those things get drowned out. But then that's when I fall into drinking, and that seems to just soothe whatever I'm going through at that moment.
Well, we can definitely find some different ways to soothe you beyond the alcoholism and the drinking. Um, and definitely concentrate more on those thoughts and feelings and actions that move you in a positive direction. But I'm definitely here for you, and we can definitely continue to work on this.
I just wanna, I guess, understand why me and why I lived and he didn't live, and could have made a different choice. Would he still be alive today?
Okay, this is the end of video 5. Thanks.